What's good? What's good? What's good? This your main man, Casey for Ill King Self for Life, here to give you my honest thoughts about the aftermath of Revolution on freaking Dynamite Television, AEW. Tony Khan had to work overtime, ladies and gentlemen, because everybody know he left a bad taste in everybody's mouth at the Revolution. The build up towards Dynasty, I'm not gonna lie, actually looked kind of solid. Yesterday's episode of Dynamite was a very good show. I got to give TK and them props. We opened up the show. Kenny Omega addresses the fans. He talked about he didn't think after having half his intestines removed that he would be standing here today as your international championship. Now, early in the day, Tony Khan announced another tournament. I mean, obviously, what else is new? But it's for the international championship. So as of right now, we got the brackets. We got cats challenging, and the winner will face Kenny Omega Dynasty. Well, he came out there and he addressed the whole situation. He talked about how it's good to be here because he didn't know if he would still be here, but he says as long as he has this belt around his waist, he's going to be known as that guy, and that's who he is. Kenny Omega is that dude. I mean, there's no buts about it. I mean, listen. If it wasn't for my man Yale, the one that put me on to him and Okada way back in the day, when they was out there in New Japan, like putting on them classes, I was like, I wouldn't know who Kenny Omega and them was, but Kenny Omega is that dude. So right off the jump, they addressed that situation. Then they had the first matchup, which I believe was it Beast Mortals and Mike Bailey. I think that was it. Yeah, so TNA's Mike Bailey is officially in AEW, and that was a very good matchup. Ricochet addressed that situation. Ricochet is in the tournament. Ricochet cut a good promo about him going after the international championship and possibly quote-unquote beat Kenny Omega. Throughout the night, we got video packages of everything that transpired at doggone Revolution. The worst part of the entire show was Moxley babbling. Moxley saying absolutely nothing. Swerve walked out. Well, he was backstage, and him and Copeland ran into each other. Now, as of next week, Tony Khan done already established it. We getting a rematch. It will be a street fight. Cope versus doggone Moxley. Now, if Tony Khan is smart, you put that doggone belt on Adam Copeland. I don't give a dang. Don't nobody give a rat's behind about this Death Riders crap. Don't nobody. Nobody gives a rat's behind about it. Tony Khan, do what you were supposed to do, because you made a terrible mistake at the end of Revolution. Right thing to do is to have Cope go over so we get Cope and Swerve at Dynasty. MVP talked about the dominance of the Hurt Syndicate. He said, my boys are taking none of that off. However, I got to handle some business in the ring, which he did, because it's something I sure did not see coming. And I will talk about that when I get there. We got a tag team match. I believe it was Will Hobbs and a Hologram, and they went against Kalisto and Brian Cage. So apparently Kalisto is a heel now. Didn't know that, but he's heel. And they won. So obviously, Hobbs is still dealing with Don Callis' squad. We got Tony Storm, and they showed the entire the entire feud from the start to the finish. When it first got started, they're all in the previous year to it just finishing that Revolution with Mariah May. And she came out there. She said, I got stitches in my head, stitches in my lip. But you can tell that this girl ain't no pussy. So I can tell you this. You already know I'm standing here today as your AEW Women's Champion. And to the women that's in the back, if you want some, sound like Fruity Pebbles, come get some. Well, her next opponent came out of nowhere and beat the brakes off her. It's that new young lady, Megan Bayne. Megan Bayne is officially, I guess, the #1 contender. So Tony Khan is putting all the marbles in this young lady. We shall see. When she came out there, she beat the brakes off her. She tore her up, beat the brakes. I said, okay, all right, we see you. Jay White addressed the situation. Jay White said, do people believe I did that stuff on purpose? Yes, I do. He said, well, let me tell you something. If Cope, quote unquote, does get the job done, let him know I am coming for that championship. Now, we got MJF. MJF is in the ring. He's addressing Hangman. He's addressing the fans. And out of nowhere, MVP comes. I'm like, wait a minute. MJF and MVP? MVP and MJF hurt Cynic? Talked about how he knew him from way back in the day, 8-year-old kid, you know. Had ambitions. He said he drove him around to some project out there in Philly or something like that. But he said, you know, the guy I know is not this current cat. This current cat don't nobody respect you. But if you align yourself with the Hurt Syndicate, you would get that respect again. And then he said, you know, I love you, buddy. You know, you're my guy, but I don't need your help. I'm good. I am in Maxwell Jacob Freeman. He said, you was when you were champion. And he said that was looking puzzled. He gave him his business card. So, ladies and gentlemen, I'm here to tell you this. If MJF aligns himself with MVP, Tony Khan, you better strap that man immediately. You better strap him and have them dominate the entire AEW, but have it be where it makes sense. Don't be like this crap that we got going on with the Death Riders. But that right there, I didn't see that coming. That was something crazy. Christian and the Patriarch addressed the whole situation about what transpired at Revolution. And as he was talking to Renee, he said, "Ain't you related to Renee? I mean, ain't you related to Moxley? I ain't talking to you." And he talked about how the contract that he signed is still available. In other words, nothing that he did. Yeah, I was just watching that truck right there because he gave me a chance. So anyway, yeah, he basically said that contract is still alive and that he is the current quote-unquote next AEW World Champion. Well, as he's just rambling and just saying anything, Nick Wayne interrupts him and said, you know, I fell for everything that you did. Everything you've been doing is just a lie. You know, if we would have actually gone according to the plan, you would be standing here today as the new AEW World Champion, but you're not. So he got it to his face. And he basically got back in his face and told him, well, guess what? Yeah, are you a champion? Have you won anything? No. And guess what? You would just be as useless as your so-called father, which you talk about his, you know, father that passed away. And then so Mama Wayne got in his face and she said, wait, who you think you are coming at my son? And then he said, hold up. Let's get things straight. If it was for me, you'd still be working at the Waffle House. I say, listen, Christian Cage is one cold dude. He is cold. He don't care. The boy don't give a dang. That boy just don't give a rat's behind, ladies and gentlemen. He don't care. We got Willow versus Penelope Ford, which is a very good matchup. Willow gets the nod, and afterwards Penelope starts to beat the brakes off of him. And then Chris comes out of nowhere. Chris Statlander, yes, Willow's former best friend, comes to her rescue. And so as she comes to pick her up, Willow didn't recognize it was her, so she swinged at her. Then she was like, oh snap, my bad. And then after that, the young lady who was the #1 contender for the AEW Women's Championship came out of nowhere and laid them both out. So Tony Khan is really big on this Megan Bayne chick. I'm actually going to give Tony Khan and Tony Storm the benefit of the doubt to get this young lady over, because like I said, all I know of her is just coming out rocking this Egyptian outfit that she be wearing and all that. Like, so I'm gonna listen, we wouldn't know who Mariah May was if it wasn't for Tony Storm. Tony Storm elevated that young lady. So now it's Tony Storm's turn to elevate this new chick, this Megan Bayne girl. So the fact that Megan Bayne is popping up all over the place, I ain't got a problem with that. MJF runs into Hangman, and they both basically say how both of them are insecure, and neither one of them will become the guy. He said, you want to win the big one, you won't win the big one ever again. And this is far from over. So obviously Hangman and MJF will run it back again. That would be part 3. Then, like I said, we got Speedball versus Beast Mortals. That was a good matchup. So Speedball is moving up in the Intercontinental Classic tournament to determine who will face Kenny Omega. And then at the end of the show, we got OC versus Hector. And obviously, you already know who's going to win that. So we will get Speedball versus OC next week. I am taking Speedball to move up. And I'm trying to think. Platinum Max got destroyed by Takeshita. Listen, I know a lot of people really not. Listen, I just want to see how him and Anthony are going to match up when that time comes, when it comes down to those two beefing. But him running around here talking about he's the best wrestler alive. No, he ain't. No, he not. Because every time he says that, whoever comes out there always beat the brakes off. And you already know Takeshi is already ticked off that he lost his international championship. So he ain't playing. He came out there and he murked that boy. He straight murked him. So, and out of all people, Jericho actually cut a decent promo about destroying that young man Gravity, and he had his mask like I forgot the old dramatic actor that where he was sitting up holding the skull. That's exactly how he was holding Gravity's mask. And the promo he cut on him was actually old school Jericho. Old school Jericho actually came out in that promo. I'm like, that promo was a very good promo, but again, the problem with me with Jericho is I just wish he would disappear for a little bit. If he would disappear and go, and like, could you imagine if Jericho was gone for the last 5 months and then he decided to come back and then go on this so-called run that he's on right now? I wouldn't have a problem with it. But the promo he cut was actually a very good promo. It was very good. Like I said, if I had to, like I said, I thought this was a very good episode. I thought Tony Khan and them he had to work overtime because of the bull job he gave us at Revolution. But we're on the road to Dynasty. If Tony Khan is smart, if he is a smart man, he will do the right thing and have Cope beat Moxley, and we get Swerve and we get Cope and Adam Copeland. I don't like to call him Cope. We'll get Adam Copeland and Swerve at Dynasty. That is the one we want. I don't want no Mox. I don't. Everybody, like I said, Moxley was the worst part of the show. He was rambling, talking about Christian Cage, talking about Adam Copeland, and just saying bull jive. Like, it was stupid. Like I said, it was the worst part of the whole show. Genuinely, the worst part. Moxley, the AEW World Champion, was the worst part of the entire show. Dynamite was definitely better than Monday Night Raw. It was a lot of story. This episode was it was a lot of wrestling, but it was very story driven. And the fact, like I said, for me, the standout was MVP and MJF, because it was that was the last thing on my radar. I wasn't even thinking about that. Like I say, Jay White, he addressed the situation, the elephant in the room. Did he or did he not do that intentionally? I believe he did. But we'll see. Like I said, moving forward, I'm trying to believe it. I think I went over everything that happened on the show. I believe. Oh, Mercedes. What are you talking at, bro? You can't go nowhere. Mercedes was talking about her dominant run, and afterwards, the young lady, Billy, the girl. All I know is she was from Ring of Honor. She was the one that was basically losing like all day to Athena. She talked about how she wants a shot, and apparently she's gonna get it. So next week, we already know the script. Mercedes is gonna basically beat the brakes off the young lady. She's on the main roster now. Decent promo, but it is what it is. Everybody, you already know. Everybody just wants some story with Mercedes. That's all they want. But yeah, outside of that, I thought TK and company actually did a very good job with Dynamite. Like, honestly, if the show ain't good or if it's just mediocre, barely get by, I'll say it's barely get by. But I gotta be honest. I gotta be honest and I gotta be truthful. I thought Dynamite was a very good show. I thought TK and them knocked it out the park. Like I said, the worst part is Moxley. Don't nobody give a crap about Moxley no more. Moxley needs to lose that championship. Now, as for Mercedes just needs some story. Just being a bill collector, that ain't enough. You got to get some story. Now, this young lady, Billy, is the next #1 contender. Fine, I don't have a problem with that. But she's going to lose. Everybody know that. But, yeah, we on to like I said, this is the road to Dynasty. The smart move would be next week, Copeland to destroy Moxley in the street fight. It's a no DQ, so some bull jobs is going to happen. We all know bull jobs is going to happen. We just pray the right bull job happen. And that is Copeland walking out as your AEW World Champion. That should be the #1. Oh, Will Ospreay. Will Ospreay came out there limping. Obviously, he's banged up. He's beat up. And he addressed, he talked about how his wife was mad at him because she told him don't do nothing stupid by jumping off a doggone cage. Well, that's exactly what he did. And he said he kind of charmed her when he went back home, and I guess he blames the limping on getting some, because basically he went out and said a whole bunch of bruv crap, and he talked about getting some from his wife, and that's why he walking up with a limp. But he said he wants the main event, keyword, main event, all in. He wants to main event all in. Now, we don't, listen, all in is 4 months from now, 3.5 months from now. We don't know what's to come. We don't know. I have, like I said, the smart move would be Colt walking out next week. Don't nobody give a rat's behind about Moxley. Nobody. None of us give a rat's behind about Moxley. The smart move from Tony Khan's path should be making sure that Colt walks out your new AEW World Champ. That should be the only thing that should be popping off next week, and a whole lot of other stories that they got going on. Like I said, Tony, she said what she said. Everybody who was cutting promos did a good job. Like I say, it is what it is. We keep it moving. That's that, ladies and gentlemen. Like I said, I have not watched NXT. I know Stephanie Vaquer is the new NXT Women's Champion. Like I said, I believe it's due to Julia being hurt. And Oba Fenty got the nod for Undertaker. He beat Moose. I told y'all how I feel about Moose. You know, it is what it is on that. But that's that, ladies and gentlemen. Like I said, I thought TK and them did a very good job. He had to work overtime because, like I said, Revolution was a joke. Revolution, I mean, the pay-per-view, like I said, it was a good show until the very end. But they ended it killed everything. But like I say, it is what it is. I ain't got nothing else to say. I just wanted to come on here and give you my honest thoughts about the show. Y'all hit the comment section up and let me know what y'all thought. Like I said, I honestly thought the show was a very good show. And like I said, this is what TK needs to do. Just keep things going. Keep people invested. Keep people interested. That's the name of the game. Story is king. Story is king. Holla at your boy.